Hi, it's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. Y'all know we running on CP time, but we're here. And today, I don't want to call it a variety show because we don't do comedy, but it's a little mix of everything. It's like from soup to nuts and some information, some updates, things to be aware on,
Yes.
macroeconomics, microeconomics,
Mm-hmm.
and all in between. But first, hubby's got to do his thing.
Yes.
Remind him.
Yeah. Stay stacking. Ounces, satoshis, and anything else you make. And we just got to be deliberate about this. Have a level of discipline about we're doing it. That's why we like to say dollar cost averaging because it's very you know, it helps you with the discipline where, you go to a place like Swan Bitcoin. I'm a big proponent of Swan Bitcoin, and you can automate your stacking, and that's a good thing. You can also go to a place, I'm a big fan of One Gold. You can automate your stacking there as well, where they will take the ounces and put it in a depository for you. And if you wish to stand for delivery, as they say, then they will send the ounces to your home in what iteration you desire, whether you want them sent to you in American Silver Eagles, Maple Leafs, a little mix of both, Krugerrands, Philharmonics, I'm missing some Libertards, or if you just want to, say you want it sent to you in 10-ounce bars or something like that. And so they'll send it to you in whatever iteration that you would like to have it sent. So that's One Gold. And we were going to do a show about One Gold. It's kind of down in the pecking order of shows in importance. But yeah, but one day if we have a free day where nothing too much is going on, we can do a show about One Gold and talk to some people and understand how it works and the benefits of it. You get to buy at spot prices. You don't. It's easy to if you need to sell and you need to liquidate. You can liquidate very easily if you want to take some profit. So One Gold's a great place to dollar cost average. You can go in there and have it taken out like every Monday or something, whatever day you like, every Friday, every 2 weeks. So these are good ways to stack, and still get on there and buy your physical though. Get your physical right.
But
Send to your home.
also, One Gold is good to use as a high yield savings account.
Yes, it is. It is. And there's a One Gold card if you wanted to have that. A lot of people like to get these cards tied to these brokerages and things like that. And One Gold's not a brokerage as much as
Exchange.
it's a depository, but it may be, yeah.
They serve
yeah.
like an exchange,
They
so
serve like an exchange. And you can buy different type of silver on there and gold. When I say different types, there's different types. You got the gold that comes from Canada, Switzerland, UK, and United States. You have options of what type of gold and what type of silver you would like to purchase.
all right, we got our cousins in the house. T Will line, boom, first in the room. We was setting up and he was just chatting away. I was like, "Hey, cousin."
I didn't know you could do that.
Yes, when I put the notification out, they can set in the waiting room. I didn't want to keep you in there too long, but I had to take care of something very important real quick before we went live. Um, Cousin Critwork is here. Cousin Will is
Yes.
here. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hello.
We are
Hello,
4 minutes in, 15 people.
Family.
We're gonna wait for about maybe 5 to 10 more people to pack in the room before we start giving you guys the updates that we just want to make sure you guys are aware of some things that are happening in our very special world that we live in. And when I say our special world, I mean like the world of crypto, not the dysfunctional, crazy,
Dystopian, 1984.
dystopian world, not that one.
1984.
So you remind them dollar cost average stack, make sure you're getting your Bitcoin. There was something else we wanted to remind them.
Oh, reminders. There was some stories I had that I didn't want to go in too far, but I think I might have mentioned this. Bricks is really rolling out to get a Bricks CBDC.
Yeah.
So, you can keep your eye out on that. I mentioned last show, it was 260 billion in trade within the BRICS nations without using US dollar, not one US dollar. So
You said 260 billion
that's something to keep your eye out for.
that will not see the light of our economy.
Yeah.
And that's very serious. And that's what's reported. Right? Think about the amount of information that goes unreported, the amount of nations who are working behind the scenes
Oh, of course.
to ditch or are finding ways to ditch the weaponized dollar. In spite of that, the U.S. is still sanctioning. I don't even know what's happening.
They sanctioned some people today in China.
Yes, they did. That's why I brought it up. And they're still sanctioning, and they are like people who are wholly, they have a lack of self-awareness. That's how I would,
This is true.
you sent me an email, baby girl. I gotta check it. I'm gonna check it. It's been a crazy, crazy week, y'all, and we were traveling and stuff. So I'm absolutely gonna check and make sure I get back to you, okay, sweetness? And I hope you email the assets.arbitrage email, because I'm still having some issues with our business email. I got some refunds because they're trying to figure out who has access to our box.
Yep.
Pause.
Okay.
What I think I have the article up though, baby. Or are you gonna do the Suriname one?
There was another one. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I want to make sure that
We're almost at 20. We're waiting for that one more person to join us. Come, cousins, join us. And we're gonna get into what's going on in the world. Definitely. Oh no, that's the
oh yeah, and then also we gotta get to the cartel real quick.
JP Morgan.
Oh, our favorite people, right? So JP Morgan Chase is caught in a U.S.-Russia sanctions war after overseas court orders $440 million seized from bank. So the key point, a Russian court sided with state-run lender VTB Bank in efforts to recoup $439.5 million from JP Morgan Chase that VTB says U.S. lender froze after the Ukraine invasion. So you see that?
So JP Morgan, what was the
You see
the
that?
title?
So with I can read it. It's
I
cool.
was just gonna show it to them. It's easy. They said that it's easier.
It's off of a reputable website, CNBC. So I don't know how you guys feel about CNBC, but they do give you
Russia
give you some
sanction.
yeah, Russia sanctions. And if you want to see it, I'll keep.
There we go. I'm gonna share the screen so you guys can follow along with Heavy Cakes.
Oh, you can read it from there. Man. You got that eagle eyes.
I had it.
Yeah, great picture of Jamie Dimon. If you guys want to see that.
I don't know why this gives me so much trouble. It drives me nuts.
So let me see the second key point. VTB. So the court ordered the seizure of funds in JP Morgan's Russian accounts and
This is like,
yeah, I mean, I can just read it. You know, yeah, I'm not reading the article. I'm just reading the bullet points, and then you can get into the article. VTB had filed a suit last week in St. Petersburg arbitration court seeking to be made whole for funds frozen in U.S. asking for relief because J.P. Morgan has said it will exit Russia. So you see these things right here. This is why people are trying to, I like to say, usurp the dollar because this is the weaponization that we're talking about. You have your money in J.P. Morgan, what do you call it, in Russia, right? And because of the Ukrainian war, they just freeze the funds, and now you have no access to over $400 million. And now you have to go to court and spend a lot of money to get the money that was yours. They should have never been frozen.
right.
And this is the things that J.P. Morgan Chase does. And I'll say it, man. We got J.P. Morgan Chase, so I mean, you got to have some bank. You got to have some bank. Whether it's that, the top four banks, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo and City Financial, Citigroup, I should say.
Citigroup.
Citigroup. So you have to have a bank to move around the world. We want to be our own bank in this community, but right now, if you're not in a if you sit out here in the world, you still need to move through, some kind of bank. And for the most part, you got to get your paycheck, direct deposit somewhere, right? And you can try to, I say mitigate or use the bank as little as possible, and because we're getting these articles left after left. You just read an article to me today about somebody's bank at Bank of America, or
It was Bank of America.
and what happened? Just
I
close
think
it.
it was like $6,000. Not only did they close the account due to fraud and suspicious activity,
Yeah.
but when they gave it back, they kept the money. I lost the chat, babe. Sorry. When they gave it back, they didn't give back the money. They gave them the account back with $0.00 in it.
Now you got to go fight for your own money back and spend your own money to get your own money back. This is what these banks are doing.
Yes.
So we got to be careful, where we keep the majority of our funds. You can use places like I'm sorry. Go
Yes,
ahead.
okay, baby.
You can use places. I know people like to keep some of their a lot of their crypto on different type of wallets, but that's why you have a flexible place like Cash App where you can keep funds over there, right? And you can get them to your bank account. You can keep funds on one goal,
Yeah.
right? And it could be like a savings account.
And even those, right, you don't want to have all of your eggs in those baskets either, right?
Right.
It's a way to diversify your portfolio. So if and when some glitch occurs, right, a glitch in the matrix, you are able to mitigate it as best as possible by utilizing the other areas of your savings portfolio
Yeah.
or your holdings portfolio, I should say.
Yeah, and we talk about this time and time. These articles come up so much that I don't even bring them up anymore because it's just happening so much. But every now and then you see a unique one, you say, "Oh well, let's talk about that one. Let's talk about this one." So over $400 million is frozen, and you can't get it back, can't touch it, can't do anything, and you didn't do anything wrong.
But are you talking about JP Morgan Chase?
Yeah,
But their exposure to that hurts, which is why it's a big deal.
yeah,
Right, normally they don't care, but they're like, oh, you messing with our money now. So
yeah.
they're
Man.
trying to get involved. They said towards the end of the article that Russia's done that to us several times and no one said anything. But you know how those things go.
Yeah. So
But they're still sanctioning, right? They haven't got the hint. People are dumping the dollar. Countries aren't, running with you guys anymore. And you haven't taken the hint that you're not the popular kid anymore. I see cousin L1L is here trying to find a parking place. We are manifesting the parking place right smack in front of wherever it is you need to get out of to go to. Right? That magical moment when the person pulls out and you can pull right in and get to where you need to go quickly. So we're manifesting that for you. Cousin Will, 45, thank you so much for showing up. We do have 20 people in the room. We do want to
Yeah,
start
so-
to get to the meat and potatoes
So yeah,
of the show.
we want to talk about something I found interesting today. Yeah, we have a video we're going to show you, 2 minute video. The former CEO, we'll try. The former CEO of PayPal, his name is David Marcus. He left and started his own company. It's called Lightspark. Lightspark, so you can check that out. And it's about payment rails on layer 2. And he is speaking with Michael Saylor in this clip, and he's telling you about some of the things that they are looking to do to speed up the process of using payment for Bitcoin, lowering the fees. So we'll let Mr. Marcus speak.
Hold on, cousins, because I'm concerned that you guys aren't getting sound on your end. Yep, there's no audio. There's no audio. So, long story short,
Let
I
me
mean,
see.
this is a hot mess.
Hit it again, because
No,
sometimes
there's no audio.
that X is on there.
What is?
The X on the audio.
No, because we could hear the sound.
I wonder why we know audio.
And maybe it's a way of not, I gotta figure out how to do, like how to do reaction videos.
Well, let's just
Oh, long story shorter,
yeah. So he was talking about how his company is building layer 2 network over the layer 1 network. So the layer 1 network for Bitcoin on payment rails is, as he said, it was slow and it's costly.
sluggish.
So what they doing with the Lightning Network and his company LightSpark, they are building it to where it is faster, right? It's faster. It's almost real time, and the fees are lower. And what this really is talking about is seeing Bitcoin being leveled up to be on a payment rail. Because a lot of people didn't like it, like he said in the video. Unfortunately, you couldn't hear it. That it was if you tried it on layer 1 network, it was about 10 minutes, at the time for a block to be mined, and they're just trying to speed it up, make it more efficient. So the more people can use it, right now at the enterprise level, as that's the way he said it. When you say enterprise level, basically corporation level, where people can send things back and forth through Bitcoin at corporation level. That's where they're starting at, because that's where the big money is. But yeah, he was the CEO of PayPal, so he understands how payments go, right? Because people use PayPal for years, right?
Yeah.
We still use PayPal sometimes.
Because we in Mexico, you probably wouldn't use
sometimes,
it in the
yeah,
US.
sometimes we still got to use PayPal to send somebody some money, because that's the only way they can get the money.
That's the only bridge we have as Americans and them as
Yeah.
Mexicans. Obviously, if we were in America, you got Zelle, Cash App.
Yeah, I think that's probably got some other ones. I found a new one, and I gotta vet it before I even start talking about it. But it's one here in Mexico where you can send people money, United States or Mexico to Mexico. You don't have to be a Mexican resident. You don't have to have Mexican ID.
I do want to make it a
yeah.
habit to not have to keep sending people
Yeah, so
here money.
so yeah, we gotta vet that one. Let me check that one out before I go out on it.
But it would be good to know for those of you
Yeah.
who are going to be establishing flag planting and stuff as you
Yeah.
move on in your journey. Cousin Tommy is here. He said we live and he made it.
Made it.
Oh, Voice Crypto. I haven't seen you in forever. What's up, cousin?
Yeah, I thought you forgot about
I
us.
know. I thought you didn't love your cousins anymore. But we're so glad that you're here. It's wonderful to see you. Yes, I don't know. The production technical assistant, she needs to get fired. She worked the technology best as she can.
But
But I do have to play with it somewhere.
But
I
I
don't
will
know why
tell
it's
you,
on audio.
I will tell you this: if you guys are interested in that 2 minute segment with Michael Saylor and David Marcus, it isn't. We found it on Twitter through Bitcoin Magazine. So if you guys use Twitter,
Did you retweet it? Because that would be easy for them to find too.
okay, I'll retweet it. You can retweet
That
it.
way you can just go
Yeah.
on our page and it'll be there.
Yeah, because Bitcoin Magazine is a great place to get information if you're not following them on Twitter. Yeah, they have great articles. You'll see Michael Saylor on there a lot, giving good information. And then you can go back and find these videos, like the long version of the video on YouTube. And but just little snippets where they give you that information. And so she's gonna go ahead and retweet it right now, and then it'll be on our page if you want to go in there and check it out. Just 2 minutes, 2 minutes a game, though. 2 minutes a billionaire game. Two billionaires speaking to each other, giving us free information.
Now, I know that is scary news for the XRPers who are, holding out their hope on that. If they can get that layer 2 network, if they can get it to be faster, if they can get it to be more efficient, just understanding in XRP not really gaining any movement, any momentum, even when Bitcoin is kind of moving. I just think it's like one more nail, not in the coffin, but just understanding that enterprise is probably going to be more apt to use this new proficient, efficient technology over using XRP, which they're currently not using anyway. And I'm not really sure what's up with all of that, but do you want to do the Suriname story with them? That's
No, no,
interesting.
yeah, I gotta vet that. I gotta vet that. But what she's saying is because Bitcoin has had large capital pour into it, people are more, they feel safer dealing with
They
it.
already have
Yeah.
exposure to it,
So
so
I mean, once you see Blackwater, Arc, who else is pouring into it? Micro Strategies, Michael Saylor. These people are pouring into it. You see a whole country making Bitcoin. It's not Treasury Reserve, but it's legal tender. It's legal tender. So you don't even have to use a dollar anymore in El Salvador. So El Salvador is slowly trying to de-dollarize because the people that they brought in the millionaires, right? So they had that visa. If you staked $1 million worth of Bitcoin, get the visa. Now they had the new one where 500, what would you say, educated, highly capable people will get free visas, right? They were talking about
5,000, I think.
5,000. You are right.
5,000.
You talking about doctors, scientists,
I applied.
IT,
I don't know if I'm kidding, but I
IT
applied.
tech, and people like that, and they're bringing in more people to help the community, to help the economy. So when everybody sees that, they understand like, okay, this is the real deal. So they're not worried about putting in on that. It is ultimate scarcity. There is no counterparty risk because there's no CEO of Bitcoin, right? It just is Bitcoin, and you can work with it like that. Just like there's no CEO of gold or silver, you just work with it, right? And so you feel comfortable working in these ways. If I have to,
Here he comes.
so if I have to send you something over a lot of money, it's a lot of what would you say? It's a lot to send gold. It's a lot to send silver. With Bitcoin, boom, you can send it. Now you got that second layer that they're working on with the Lightning Network through Lightspark, whose CEO is David Marcus. So you can check him out. Look up Lightspark. It seems like a good. It's not anything that us us people on the ground could use, but you can see that things like that help Bitcoin move forward
Yes.
day after day. So this is why you got to stay down on the news because these kind of things pop up, and some people might not even know. Like, why should I invest in Bitcoin? Well, listen, if you see billionaire talking to billionaire talking about Bitcoin, hey, get involved and learn later. Ain't saying put your whole life savings in there. Saying put a little something in there and then start to learn, and then you can start feeling safer. Like, okay, I can put more in and more in and more. This is what you got to do, man. Everybody got to start from someplace. We talked about the show. No Bitcoin shaming. If you don't know something that you know a Bitcoiner for years and years and years, don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask questions. Ask questions.
But
You
that's
might
what
think
this
it's a silly
environment
question.
is for, right?
Yeah.
Because the space is prickly and
Prickly.
snarky and obnoxious as hell when you have a question that people perceive to be like, you don't know that? If I knew it, I wouldn't have asked the question. So that's why our platform is there for people to ask questions, to feel comfortable getting to know information. Cousin Jake, shout out to Cousin Jake, wants to know what tequila you are going to be utilizing on Cinco de Mayo, which they don't
Oh,
celebrate
let's
in
go there.
Mexico.
Cinco de Mayo. But they're just setenta. Don Julio setenta. So that's
Yep, he's doing Don Julio too.
Don Julio setenta. That's the 70. An interesting story. Uh, Cinco de Mayo is not actually their Independence Day here in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo is Independence Day for for Puebla, and they don't like to talk about it. We get into that. Just a little history because the Maroons, if you know what Maroons are, they were like Afro
Latino,
Mexicanos, but they were
Afro-Caribbean,
dark skin.
Latino.
Yeah, but they basically were black, and they did a lot for that to fight off the army of
The conquistadors?
The Army of Napoleon Bonaparte. I'm sorry, I had to get it
Some
right.
piece of those.
Yeah, I had to get it right. And so, they don't like to show a whole bunch of love to black people who saved the Mexicans. So
They just turned it into a holiday where
yeah,
everybody gets shit faced
yeah, so if
and dance.
yeah, so if you check that out, man, you look that up and look up Maroons and Cinco de Mayo, they'll give you the whole story.
So they don't celebrate it here.
Yeah, they don't celebrate it here. Maybe in the city of Puebla they celebrate it, but it's not countrywide. It's not country because Independence Day here is
September 16th.
September 16th. That's the Independence Day of Mexico that they celebrate nationwide.
And yesterday was their Labor Day. And believe it or not, y'all, May 1st is the Labor Day for the majority of the world.
Yeah.
It's just America who decides to do, what is it, September 4th or whatever that September is.
It's
that
the first,
Monday.
it's the first Monday in September. So that's what they
Fun,
do.
interesting facts.
But yeah, say 10th Jake Fever, it'll be there.
But cousin Will said that Michael Saylor has a 2-day conference on YouTube, the Bitcoin Magazine conference, since you brought up Bitcoin Magazine.
Bitcoin Magazine is thorough, so follow them, check in with them, subscribe with them.
It's a great way to start programming your algorithm, AKA your watch list.
Yeah, it's dope. It's real dope. So I always like to follow them. I wish we could let you get that video, man, but
yeah, but you guys, hopefully
right.
you have subscribed to our Twitter. You're following us on Twitter. You can just catch it right there. I've already retweeted it for you, so you have access to watch it. But again, it's going to be great progress for Bitcoin. We didn't get a chance to discuss it, but the Bitcoin ETF in Hong Kong had a soft start.
Yeah.
It didn't do the numbers that they projected. However, it's still a step in the right direction with more exposure to Bitcoin for, I guess, that side of the world. And it is, worth kind of mentioning at this point.
Okay. So let's go in. This is what we found this week that was interesting. And
Bidenomics.
so we had a little back and forth on social media with some people, with some I'm gonna be nice with the names I call it. But we had an article.
They're Biden sympathizers.
Yeah, it's called Biden Economics. And we're gonna go over some of the inflation that has gone on under the Biden administration, under his watch. And we had people really fighting back with us on this and saying it's not Biden's fault, it's the corporation's fault.
It ain't my
and
fault.
all these things. And then, but the real question is, okay, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. There's a problem at hand. How do we fix it? And this is why we say Bitcoin. So this is why we speak to people on this. So you can share the screen, or we could just read it off if they can't see it.
They should be able to. I don't know.
I mean, if they can't see it, you have to double check.
I'm hoping that they can see it. All right, cousins, are you guys able to see this chart? I'm about to make just a little bit bigger. I can't scroll, so.
Yeah, it's just a frozen picture.
It is frozen. It's driving me crazy.
Just push it to the side so you can still see the comments. Push it to the side.
Okay, they can see it. All right, you guys.
There you go.
So here we have your president above his head. You can't see it, but it says Bidenomics. And they're giving you items that people typically buy. So they're standard items that people typically buy for groceries. In January of 2020, they're giving you the original price. And January 2024, they're showing you what the price is now, and they're giving you the percentage price increase. We're just gonna run down the list real quick. So a gallon of orange juice went from $2.99 to $4.29. That's a 43.48% increase. Many of you guys, let me know in the chat if you can't see it, but I can see it on our end. So I'm guessing that you guys can see it as well. Coffee, 28% increase, but really 29% increase. White bread, 34% increase. Eggs have inflated 100%, and really more than 100%, because that's heading into 101%.
So what they're telling you, in 4 years, the price of eggs has doubled, right? And people, you have to understand this is the real CPI we're going over
Yes.
because they keep trying to tell you CPI is around 8 or 9%. And this is the CPI because this is the things people go out and buy every day for their family, for the things they need. We didn't even get into like rent and all that because that will change what's going to eventually what we'll get to. But go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Chicken breast, 60%. Ground beef went up 40%.
So let me tell you, let me stop you right there at chicken breast. For all my people out there who like to, hit the gym, stay in shape,
Protein?
they always push chicken breast on you.
Yes.
Eat chicken breast, chicken breast, chicken breast. And so as people are trying to get their fitness in order, your chicken breast has went up 60% while you are trying to get your fitness in order. So
And that's just 2 pounds, right? So that's a serving for maybe 2 people. For those of you who have children or other people in your house, because many households are more than just 1 or 2 people, you're gonna have to double that. And these are some of the things we want to show you. A pound of ground beef, unless you're making hamburger helper, you're likely gonna need more than one pound of ground beef. You're gonna need more units than that.
yeah.
Rice went up 50%. Lettuce, can you believe it? Lettuce went up 50%. Tomatoes went up 33%. Potatoes went up 50%. Milk went up 50%. Butter went up 38%, really. Bananas went up 51%, really. Cheerios, 44%. Bologna, 43%. Cream of mushroom soup, I don't know why they picked that one, but it went up 50%, which is probably why they tried to pick that one. So what Simon and I did the other night, and I think I left out the cream of mushroom soup, so this number here is more accurate, that your groceries, on average, are 37% more. And that's if you're going to buy just one unit of each of those items, which many people buy multiple units of those items. Okay? And every time you go to the grocery store, you need to take with you 39% extra money than you would have. And so let's say 40, let's just round it up to 40, which we've been saying inflation is. Every time you go to the supermarket, that's barring that you don't need more than one unit, because now that number goes up significantly, and it's every single time you go.
Yeah, so every single time you go buy eggs for your family, you're paying 100% inflation since 2024. And I can't remember everyone. One was 50. What was 50? Chicken breast.
The chicken breast was 60.
So
And
chicken
that's
breast.
just 2 pounds.
So when you go buy chicken breast for your family, you are paying 60% extra than you would have in 2020. And what we're trying to say is this is where Bitcoin comes in handy, because if we pulled up a chart and seen Bitcoin's price at 2020, you could see
Let's do it.
you could fight off some of the inflation, because you can't save the dollars. I mean, if you held those dollars in your saving account and they gave you 0.25%, 25 basis points, I mean that would be it's ridiculous. You're just losing. You're losing. Probably
2020.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait a minute, that's the 1-day chart. I'm tripping.
Yeah, you gotta get the 5 year.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can check it.
That's 2021. We'll get to the beginning of 2020. All right, let's share the screen. I have to find it
Oh,
again.
you moved it.
Well, I had to move it in order to share the screen.
Okay. So we're gonna go January 2020 and see what Bitcoin's price was at the same time that they have these prices of basically your groceries that most people need in their household. And you can see how if you saved in Bitcoin, the benefits you would have gotten as opposed to saving in fiat currency, because the currency is going up. So at the beginning of 2020, I thought I saw
11,000.
11,000. I think it was lower than that. Pull the chart up. I'll just look at it and read
Yeah, because it won't let me share now. Like I overused my share.
it. Okay.
So 8,000.
So January of 2020, and Bitcoin was $8,021. That's January of 2020. And so,
Do we want to do January of 24?
I mean, just as of now, how much you would have if you were
But
saving
even
in
if you just
Bitcoin.
did January of 2024, right? If you just want to do boom to boom, it's still $43,992.
So that's 5x that you could save as they are raising up and inflation is beating you up. So CPI, man, CPI is bullshit, and that's just what it is. They'll tell you, and we even enter in gas, rent, so this is just groceries. We didn't even enter in stuff that you need every day, every month, utilities, how much you pay per kilowatt and electricity. Do you all, somebody in the comments tell me, do you all actually ever go on your utility bill and see how much you pay per kilowatt and see if it goes up and understand the percentage that is being raised on you? Do you guys ever do that? Because you got to do that. You have to understand that even your electricity, the price might go up, but they are charging you more per kilowatt. And you can go in there. It's a very detailed chart when you have it, and you can check that kind of stuff out. Don't try to share the screen no more.
It's acting wonky, look.
Oh, okay. And so these are things we got to do, and we have to like stay down and really be on top of stuff, right?
Now, cousin Tommy said that they forgot to put the extra 40% of his salary, but they forgot me too. So I think there's some like dementia going on with the corporations forgetting to put that in our pockets while they're taking it in their own pockets.
And that's why it's called assets and arbitrage. People getting off the grid, moving along. If you come to a place like Mexico and you could get that extra 40%, you probably could get an extra 200%, maybe 300.
Now, don't get us wrong,
Done
inflation
right.
is here too, but it's not hitting us as hard.
No, it's not. And you could get out of that area, especially all these people now who have work from home opportunities, and you can be mobile. If you have to be somewhere, then boom, you might have to fly in to the corporate office, handle business and fly out. Just handle that. And but you get your arbitrage somewhere else where you don't have to pay, I don't know, $8.99 for some eggs. It's like you just go down to the local market and you get you some eggs. And it doesn't cost that much.
It's strawberry season. Strawberries cost nothing. They're literally giving it away. We had a whole big gigantic thing we were gobbling down yesterday, me and the boys.
So yeah, that's the arbitrage of planting flags and being abroad.
But the other thing I want to say is like in Mexico, even though they do have inflation, their GDP is growing because their economy is growing. Whereas with the United States, with everybody dumping the dollar, they're spending. But I'm not sure that there's much growth GDP wise with the loss of the money that they're going to begin to start feeling because the loss is happening.
Yeah, so tell them about as you're talking about losses, major corporations. Tell them that story you read me this morning about McDonald's. Do you have it, or it was just
Oh, so they were, because I can't share my screen. I don't know
just
what's
read
wrong with
it.
this,
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
McDonald's, is long story short. McDonald's, now you got to remember that fast food was supposed to be able to get a meal for cheap, right? So it was great for lower income people, great for single people, great for teenagers, young adults. They're saying that they are now feeling the loss of these markets that they relied on for years, right? Obviously, a mother with 3 children, she may be a single mom and she may be strapped for cash, will go to McDonald's to give her kids dinner versus taking them to Denny's, right? It'll be a little bit, I don't want to say Cheesecake Factory because it's like date, but to Denny's or to a diner or IHOP or Steak and Shake's pretty cheap, but it's only in a few markets. So naturally, people go to McDonald's, it's quick, it's fast, it didn't cost anything. They are seeing a loss in that market. It hasn't affected their profits yet, but it will here in the quarters to come.
Yes, because it's projections. These people are running businesses, and yes, you have the quarter that finished, quarter one, but they have the people and analysts who are looking forward, quarter two, quarter
But
three,
they're
all the way
seeing the
out to quarter
decline in
four.
sales already, so it's not yet reported, but they're seeing
Yeah.
a decline in sales. Two, I believe, because they're saying that it's an economic thing, but I think too that people are more aware of the diabolicalness of what they're doing to the food. And that has a huge impact as well with the meat, and the chicken nuggets aren't chicken nuggets, and the French fries aren't, and all of the different things we were talking about, Wendy's and stuff like that. When they had we're selling our burgers for a penny, we're selling it for 2 for 50 cents. Remember all of the different,
Yeah, all the weird.
they didn't get the sales they expected, and they were like dumbfounded by it.
And so you can see it everywhere. That's a corporation, a large corporation in the United States, who is struggling, So we got to
For the first
understand.
time in a long time.
We got to understand. So we could do a show to shout out to the big homie Max Kaiser. He bangs on these shell corporations. These what do you call them? Zombie corporations. That's the correct term. Calls them zombie corporations, where they're held up at the top, high, right? But there's nothing in the middle of them, right?
Like what, baby?
Because I'm like McDonald's looks like it's on its way, maybe.
They on
to
their
be
way
a
to being a zombie corporation.
But you remember, guys, y'all remember back with Hertz
Oh yeah,
and
Wall Street Bets, right?
who was the other company?
It was GameStop.
Yeah. So these were zombie corporations that were about to go out of business, that were held up by investors.
Highest thing,
They're held up by investors who are just trying to make a buck and leave. These are zombie corporations, and they exist all over the United States. You go in there and you start looking at some of these places. You got shaky places like Delta, Carnival Cruise Lines. These things that your investment god Warren Buffett will tell you, invest in Delta, right? Boeing, invest in Carnival Cruise Lines. These are zombie corporations. And they were dying in COVID because you couldn't go on cruises. It was hard to fly.
yeah.
Yeah. And so he's still
And
saying,
Delta and American Airlines, and those airlines, people are looking for discounts, right? I can fly Southwest. Why fly American Airlines? I can fly JetBlue. Why fly American Airlines? I'm gonna pay $2,000 for a ticket. I can pay $72.
and so for my sports fanatics, if you keep an eye on the arenas and you see them names get changed. We the Laker fans, we out there. You see the Staples Center. It was Staples Center since we could remember, right? Staples is a zombie corporation because nobody really goes to Staples to get their
Office supplies. They go
when
to
you can just
Amazon.
get them online, right? And so it's a zombie corporation, and crypto.com can walk in and offer more money than Staples can afford to pay because it's a zombie corporation, right? It's still alive, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. When was the last time one of y'all went to Staples, man? Let me know.
When's the last time you seen the Staples?
Okay, then let me know that too, because these are zombie corporations that exist around the country that have large names, but really they aren't doing anything, and you know that they're losing out. Amazon's putting hurting on a lot of places, and so you keep an eye out for zombie corporations, especially if you still invested in the stock market. You don't want to invest in zombie corporations right now. I mean, I'm just as in financial advice. FANG stocks were safe, but I don't know. Is Netflix safe with all these new streaming platforms?
Coming up.
Google, Amazon, pretty safe. Facebook.
Yeah, but you got your Instagrammers who don't mess with Facebook. You got your
But
TikTokers.
it
They
is
think
Facebook though.
it is.
Yeah, it's Facebook.
It is,
so I
right?
get
It's
that.
Meta, but at the same time, they're not utilizing the platform that way.
You got Apple,
They
right?
think old people use
I'm
Facebook.
not a big Apple user. I mean, we have an Apple laptop and stuff. I'm not a phone. Is there any innovation in their new products? Is there anything that we are excited to buy for $2,000, or is it just
Samsung does the camera, so you might as well just buy a
so
Samsung.
you got to watch out for these zombie corporations if you're going to be investing money? It's hard to invest in the stock market, y'all. These apps and everything that popped up over the last 10 years make it seem like we can just all jump in. And we can. And some people do well. But you got to understand the stock market. People get, because I'm big on technical analysis, so you got to have your technical analysis game together. But what else you got to have together is your fundamental analysis game together. When you go back and, like she said, you're reading the projections, and when they come out with what happened, you got to be able to read and tell, okay, where is this company going? Are they seeing a downturn? Are they seeing a lot of upturn? People like to find smaller stocks that they see, what we call growth stocks, that they can see a lot of growth in. But those are hard to find, especially in this economy. So it's it's really complicated out here, man. And so people just keep that in mind as you're investing your money in the stock side. That's why I say, hey, if you just put your money in Bitcoin, number go up, and you can learn about it as you make money. And that's the great thing about Bitcoin. Precious metals will always cover your, you know, what would it call? Your spending value. Your spending what? How do I call it?
What, your purchasing power?
Purchasing power. Thank you. Thank you. It would always cover your purchasing power. So gold and silver are good in that respect. So if you had some profits and boom, you say, I want to protect my purchasing power, you buy some precious metals, and then that purchasing power is protected, right? And you said, you bought your precious metals at $12 to protect them, and then now it's up to 26, 27. You see how the high yield savings account doubled it, like our good brother Ricardo Hamilton spoke on. So that is stuff that we have to keep in mind. I spoke too long. Go ahead.
Oh no, you said some good stuff. KW1, she said you get a discount on your life if you fly Boeing. That's funny.
Oh boy.
You discounting your life. I think Spirit Airlines might be along those lines as well.
No, South is spirit.
You probably won't even get on the plane, so you might just be fine.
Right here, right here.
They always over. Was that all of the?
No, I mean it was more. Just did anybody say anything that we needed to cover?
I just read it.
Hmm. Well, so basically, we're saying this is a good time to really get your investments up, dollar cost average into these things that we speak of, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of problems for the United States and for people who still live in the United States and have your flags deeply planted there. You know, be ready and be aware. Because you're supposed to plant flags. That was the theory of a life portfolio, is to plant your flags in other places so one country can't have access and shut down everything that you've worked hard to earn.
If there's a severe contraction within that market, it can be dire, and you guys are going to see here in the days to come just how dire it's going to be for people in the U.S. as this economic winter starts to take on momentum.
Yeah, because when we just talking to right, we're just talking to people, a lot of black people in the middle class, their biggest asset is their house. So if the housing market, so you have a valuation, just like a company, you have a valuation. You see somebody valuated at a certain amount of money. Everybody likes to love Jay-Z, but evaluate him at the money, but he's not liquid like that, right? He's not liquid. You can say whatever number, if you say 10 billion, but he's not 10 billion liquid, right? So it's valuated at the amount the companies invested into and what they're worth. So that's the same with your house. If your house is valuated at 250,000,
but you can't sell it for that.
You can't sell it for that, and you only could take out so much on a HELOC, right? You can't take a $250,000 HELOC out, right? They might give you 20,000.
Yeah, they'll give you a little percentage.
Yeah, they'll give you a little bit of.
They'll get it back in interest.
They'll give you a little bit of your own money, of your own asset, and when your home is your largest asset, that's a problem, because if the market dumps, then your assets lose, 50, 60, 70% of their value. And that's what you had spent all your money, your time, your hard work to put into. So diversify your assets. please be aware and put in assets that the U.S. government can't hammer down, right? They try their best to hammer down silver and gold, but it just keeps going up. It's just not going up as fast as we like. And they try to hammer down Bitcoin, but it still goes up. So, those are places. Bitcoin is real estate and cyberspace. So you could switch up your real estate perspective and say, oh, I'm gonna flip it and go into Bitcoin because
Where
that's
it's
real
all
estate.
asset and it's asset immediately upon purchase.
It is because, as you know, if you sell it and you go file your taxes, it's not capital gains taxes. You guys know it will be taxed as real estate. So if you sold $10,000 worth of Bitcoin over the course of a year, you will be taxed as if you sold $10,000 of a plot of land in the United States of America. So keep that in mind because Bitcoin is land. Because I see a lot of people out here talking about not owning land and doing all this stuff and, making it seem like, everybody's digital now. But this is land in cyberspace because it is ultimate scarcity,
Scarcity.
right? So if you buy a plot of land today, and 100 years from now, your family has access to it, how much you think that has gone up in value, right? People buy land and they don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah. You can't put utilities on it, can't do nothing with it. It's in the middle of somebody else's land.
Yeah, because you
So
got to
you
go on
can
those
build on
grids.
it
Because
anyway.
I looked into this real good. I mean, you could buy land, but it's gridded off. You got to have these easements and stuff to come through to even just get to your land. And then even if you want to just go on your land, park your camper, and just hang out for a few days, then you got the what do you call them?
The permit police.
Yeah, permit police coming in and running you off your own land. You can't do that here. And so, buying land is tricky. You can go to another country and buy land. People talk about that. I mean, are you going to go and till the land? Are you going to grow anything in the land? Or are you just buying land to say you could buy land? Many years ago, I tried to buy some land in Africa. And I did the research and I understood that I felt like it wasn't what we needed to do. Right? And so I'm not saying nobody could do it, but it just wasn't. I said, figure, just buy more Bitcoin. Why give somebody $10,000 for a plot of land in Botswana that it'll take me a long time to ever get over and put my eyes on? And then, there's stories of people just taking the land back from the people.
Yes.
So then it's not even your land. You can't even justify it's your land. So I said, just put the money into cyberspace land. And in that way, that's your land. Nobody knows you have it,
Your keys, your cheese.
but you know you have it.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead. About the land.
Oh, no, I mean, asset right now, a house, when you purchase a house or land or anything like that, unless it's revenue generating, it is a liability. It is not an asset. And too many people, we've talked about this ad nauseum, too many people feel like when they buy this investment house or this investment building or whatever the property is, investment property, that, oh, no, it's an investment property. No, it's not yet. Right now, it is a, what do we call it? Not an arbitrage. Like it's a money pit. And the money's just getting sucked into it, sucked into it, sucked into it. That money isn't really productive yet, or it takes an extremely large amount of capital in order to get the money productive, when you can simply just dollar cost average your way into Bitcoin.
Yeah. And you don't have to, there's no mandatory down payment. There's no finance
There's no
costs.
permission needed to be asked. You don't
Yeah.
have to give anybody your personal information.
And yeah, and we say this to our community because a lot of the community is into real estate. That's all I hear. I'm in real estate. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. And no, no disrespect to them. If you're doing your thing, then you're doing your thing. But this is a way where you could do your thing, and it takes out a lot of the overhead for sure. Overhead's gone, and so and you just have low time preference. So if you just sit, you just seeing it from 2024 to 2024, you got a 5x just sitting on your hands comfortably and, patiently. got a 5X. You didn't have to deal with tenants. You didn't have to put it in the water heater.
Yeah, your $11,000 property is now worth, just from January to January, is now worth 43,000. Today, it would be worth about 59,000.
Without doing much. You know, it's just sitting there.
You just there.
You just sitting there, and it's property. Remember, it's property. When you sell it, IRS will tax it as property, not capital gains tax. So if you got your stocks and you want to sell stocks for profit, right, you'll be taxed at capital gains tax, and so it makes your taxes difficult, either or. But
Your taxes are gonna be difficult anyway.
yeah, they make it that way. And so it's something that you could just think about in your portfolio, especially if you are people like us. We had property many, many years ago, back in what, 010s, it's 10, 9, something like that. And we didn't live around where the property was. So then you got to hire a property manager to make sure everything is done.
That's overhead that come out of your pocket.
And then, you know, you can't go actively see the property, see how it's being treated, see what's actually wrong, if what you're saying is more than, you know, so it just became a headache. And we
If you have to
understood.
put someone out of your property, you pay those court filing fees.
Yes.
You have, all of the overhead comes from you. Keep in mind, if you're putting somebody out of your property, they likely haven't paid you in months.
Yeah.
So you're already in a huge hole. This is not to persuade you or to dissuade you from real property, but there's an easier way to do it at this point in 2024. It's an easier way to do it. And to me, unless you have a significant amount of capital in order to accomplish that objective,
Yeah.
right? If you kind of shoestring budget, if you have just enough to kind of get done what you think you need, you don't have enough.
Yes.
So you might as well just take all of that money and put it in some Bitcoin.
Yeah, and just call it what it is, right? If you just think Bitcoin's an investment, our good brother Ricardo told you he's seen in his eyes, in his vision, he said he's seeing precious metals as savings and he's seeing Bitcoin as an investment. And if you just look at it like that, like just look in your mind and say, okay, simple, Bitcoin is me buying some property. And I'm buying a little bit of property every week. And I'm just chopping away, getting property. Now, if you want your own personal property, for you and your family, man, no doubt. That's what we did. We got personal property, right? It's not to be rented out or anything, or to gain anything from it, right? It's just for us and our family, and for the progeny that comes from our family. But having real estate property, Bitcoin will get you a lot more returns in our eyes. But this is not financial advice at all.
Nope. And we are not financial advisors.
Nah, I'm cool. And so, this is just good. So if anybody doesn't have anything left in the chat room,
No. It is Thursday, May 2nd. You guys are going to be preparing for Cinco de Mayo, tequila and salsa, maybe some nachos, the 5th.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Right, you guys, I hope you guys have a great outing. There's 48 people in the room at the 59-minute mark.
Thank you
We
all.
really appreciate all of the support and the love that you guys show consistently every single show. Crit work, I'm going to go check my email now. But if any of you guys need anything, you know how to reach us, access.arbitrage@gmail.com. And somebody is in my yard beeping, so I need to go figure out what's going on out there. But we love y'all, and Mamba out.